Hello guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about a Japanese car from 1970s and 80s, Mitsubishi Sapporo. I remember this model from the time I've been a kid. The first time I saw was in a picture. There were actually two pictures, but straight this car makes my attention. Two-door sporty coupe, very clean lines, very 80s, 4 square front lights with beautifully made grille, nice wheels, but the roof line was the most beautiful part of the car, and one of the most beautifully ever made. On that time was always a comparison between the German and the Japanese cars. They said the German are more reliable but more expensive. The Japanese cheaper but not that reliable. Is that was true? But what about the design? Now, on that time, the Japanese cars were more refined. Every element was nicely made. They were very fine inside and outside. You get inside the Japanese car and first you start to look, learn, admire, get surprised, and then you drive. Then you get inside the German car. Simple, nothing to surprise you and excite you. You just start and drive from point A to point B. German cars are mostly the same boring colors inside, but the Japanese, you can find cars with every shade from every color. Exterior-wise as well. There is no doubt 1980s Japanese cars are very precisely made. All the gaps are equal, smaller than the gaps on the German cars. The grills are very fine, the lights, the bumpers, more attention to every single detail. This car in front of us is not exception. A 1980 model Mitsubishi Sapporo. This car actually is based on the 4-door sedan Mitsubishi Galant, but with this 2-door coupe was extremely beautiful car. Now, the car was named Sapporo only in Europe and in USA, but in Japan the original name was Galant Lambda. In the Japanese domestic market, the car appeared a bit early. The first version of this coupe version actually came in 1976, in Europe in 1978, and was very well received not only in Japan but all over the world. Was a middle-class sporty 2-door luxury car. The wheelbase is just over 2.5 meter, the length is over 4.5 meter, the car is wide 1 meter 675 and high 1 meter 330 millimeters. This is for the early version of the Mitsubishi Sapporo. The curb weight just over 1 ton to 1,100 kilograms, depends from the engine. The engines were enough to make happy every buyer. From 1.6 to 2.6 liters, with 5-speed manual or optional 3-speed automatic transmission. In 1980, Mitsubishi did a facelift. So the car here in front of us is from the facelift version after 1980. Little bit bigger size than the first version and respectively more weight. The top version was the Sapporo GSR. Actually, this car here in front of us is GSR, but there were again two versions of this GSR. Was 4-cylinder inline 2-liter engine, but the better version GSR was with turbocharger. And just to mention that, in 1980s, to have turbo car was so cool. But also, this model was fully loaded with every possible extras. Alloy wheels, rear disc brakes, air conditioning, automatic gearbox, cassette player, cruise control, power sunroof windows, mirrors and power locks as well. The car was so ahead of so many rivals. This car was somewhere in the middle of the Mitsubishi, let's say, sport range cars on that time. 1980s was the time for the Mitsubishi sports cars. We know the top model of the Mitsubishi sports cars was Mitsubishi Starion. So this was the top sporty car, then the Sapporo, the car in front of us, and on the end the cheapest sporty Mitsubishi was the model Mitsubishi Cordia. But Cordia was front-wheel drive with even 1.6 liter or later 1.8 liter turbocharged engine. Mitsubishi always was a car manufacturer to make sporty cars. Even this tradition continues today. Mitsubishi was in partnership with Chrysler, and the model even was in production in USA as a Dodge Challenger and Plymouth Sapporo. But the biggest names on that time, actually the biggest rivals for this car, Mitsubishi Sapporo, they came from Japan. And they were actually the very well-known Datsun Z and Toyota Celica. So for Mitsubishi Sapporo was a little bit hard to fight with these already great two cars. That's why today not many people remember this car, or they just forgot about. Always Mitsubishi Sapporo was in shadow of these two Datsun Z and Toyota Celica. The design of the Sapporo was, as we said before, more luxury than the rivals, and this was the strongest side of the car. Very 1980s boxy shape and frameless windows. The velour inside was the most common material for the interior and was very, very comfortable. The basic engine was 1.6 liter, 1597 cc, naturally aspirated and producing only 75 horsepower. So this was the cheapest Mitsubishi Sapporo you can buy, but they did this model because they wanted to sell as much as possible cars. Then the 2 liter, 1997 cc, naturally aspirated again, GSR version was better car with 112 horsepower, better performance of course, and was better equipped. But the top was the turbo version GSR. So this turbo car, it came in 1981, and this was very serious car compared with the naturally aspirated cars. The same 2 liter engine, 1997 cc, but thanks to the turbo, the power went up to 170 horsepower. So you can see the big differences from the 112 horsepower naturally aspirated to 170 horsepower. So probably the turbo luck was a little bit big, so you have to be careful with this car when you accelerate. Imagine this in very early 1980s. Was crazy power, 170 horsepower, and let's say again the turbo cars in 1980s were very desirable. The people were crazy about them, and this came from the motorsport, Formula 1 and Rally Sport. The turbo era was crazy, everyone wanted to have a turbo car, but they were quite expensive, not only to buy but after to maintain as well. With these nice decals and stickers and badges everywhere on the car turbo, so it was really very cool. Very nice to be inside the car. The interior is just so friendly, very warm, and you feel you drive a bit special car, especially the turbo version. And again, compared with the European, German, French or Italian cars, this was ahead of its time. The design is just beautiful, very smooth, but on the same time boxy. The front part is very elegant and has the right proportion. The 4 front lights, they are so beautiful, something similar to Ford Mustang, the Fox body Mustang from that time. And other American cars as well, they were very popular, these 4 square lights on that time, 1980s. And the integrated in the bumpers front indicate. This car from the front looks so aggressive, but on the same time very aerodynamic, very proportional, very beautiful car. The roof as well, the roof line is very proportional compared with other cars and very elegant with the frameless windows and doors. The car is just amazing. The boot lid on the end is going down to make the car more slippery, but on some versions the spoiler is there to help to stabilize the car when speeding. The designers and engineers really did amazing job, and they were choosing always the right combination exterior and interior. You can find many red interior cars which suits very nice to the exterior color. These small touches makes the car really very nice and beautiful and eye-catching. The Japanese cars weren't very expensive, even we're going to say much cheaper compared with the same class cars from around the world. But this was normal. Japan motor industry started the world invasion with cars during 60s, 70s and they carried still 1980s. And to be rival in some different country and to fight with the domestic cars there wasn't easy. That's why the prices were reduced. But the car actually is absolutely fantastic. So guys, I hope you liked the video about this very beautifully made, actually very beautiful car, Mitsubishi Sapporo from very early 1980s. If you like, please subscribe my channel and see you next time guys. Bye.